What is up, everyone? My name is Chris from Conversing with Chris and Misa, the podcast. Today, I am here to talk to you guys about the Anchor app. If you haven't heard about the Anchor app is the easiest way for you to make a podcast. Just like I did, you can create your very own podcast. The best thing about the Anchor app is, number one, it's completely 100% free to use. Number two, it is really easy to use. So if you're not good with technology like my producer Lena here, this app is perfect for you. Number three, the app is available for download from your app store. The Anchor app provides certain tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. This means that additional recording software is not needed. Get it out of here. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many other platforms. Best part is you can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. So guys, open your app store, download the free Anchor app today, or go to anchor.fm to get started. 3, 2, 1. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Conversing with Chris and Misa, the podcast. Today, we are recording episode number 29. As always, guys, we are joined by producer of the podcast, Lena. Say what's up.
Yeah, yep.
Also, guys, as always, joined by co-host of the podcast, Misa. Say what's up.
Yo, what it do?
And today, guys, we have friend of the podcast, very special guest. His name is Gregg Wilson. Greg, say what's up to the podcast.
Yo, what's up?
All right, so Greg is a longtime homie of both of ours, actually.
Wait, let me guess. Y'all haven't seen each other in like 10 years.
No, I actually saw this dude not that long ago. I saw him at a UTEP tailgate probably a few months ago, but I run into Greg periodically, so he's not one of the ones that falls into the 10 years ago friendship. But yeah, dude, fucking Greg, thanks for being on, dude. Shout out to you. Glad to see you that you're doing well in the COVID-19. We'll get into a little bit about what you've been doing, a little bit about how you stream on Twitch and the following that you have on there. We'll talk about all that. But yeah, shout out to you for being on the podcast. Misa's been giving me shit because, we were supposed to have you on a while back, and
fucking dick.
The scheduling didn't work out. But thanks for being here today, man.
No, yeah, it's thank you guys for having me. I mean, it's been a long time coming, and I know we've been talking about it for months, and I'm sorry.
Hey, I got you, Greg. I got you, Greg, bro. All right, fuck Chris. I got you, Greg. All right.
All right.
Hey,
all right.
That was a little aggressive, bro. Come on.
Shut up, Chris.
Hey, Misa's fiery today, guys. He's got his San Diego Chargers jersey.
That's right.
In case you don't know who the San Diego Chargers are, because a lot of people don't. They're a football team.
Look, and I have a El Paso background. And just to show you guys, the only Charger in El Paso.
Can I just say, I feel like maybe he's a little too fiery or too feisty today for being an hour late.
Oh
hey man, I got my reasons, right? Hey Chris, listen. All right, we just got Greg. This is Greg's first time here, all right?
Okay.
It's Greg's first time here. It hasn't even been 10 fucking minutes, all right? Greg, we'll end this shit right now. Final thoughts, Chris? Lena? Jesus. Anyways, let's keep this shit going.
Let's get this shit going, dude. Okay, so, Greg, what's going on? You hit the fucking sounder. Greg, just go ahead and give us a little intro. Let the podcast, the listeners, know who you are.
Yeah.
What's your life status at the moment?
Oh, geez. Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you already said my name. That's pretty much all I got, I guess,
Yeah, but who is Greg? What is Greg? Where is Greg?
Oh, well, physically right now I'm at my house in El Paso.
You're safe.
About a mile and a half away from you, I guess.
We're literally right down the street from each other.
I'm like right down the street.
I didn't know that.
Really?
That's cool.
Yeah, he lives real close by.
Yeah. It's like 3 turns. It's like 3 turns and I'm there.
Yeah, you literally have to only make 3 turns to get there.
Hey, you're probably related to Chris too, right?
Just family friends, but our family's cousins
you are
definitely cousins somewhere at some point.
Yeah.
Yes,
you probably are. You just don't know it.
Yeah, probably. I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, we don't have a direct relation, but somehow in our family, like somewhere down the line, somebody's related to somebody. But you know how that goes. El Paso life. Not the first time that we've had a fellow cousin on the podcast, and it won't be the last time.
Yeah, definitely won't be the last. So just tell us more about you. I'm so intrigued about your Twitch life, and just explain that.
Yeah, well, I guess primarily like what I do now, as far as like a living goes, is I just live stream on Twitch and play video games and just chatting channels, and I don't know. I just kind of.
Dude, living the life.
Living the life, dude. It's great.
That's what's up, dude. So, have you? We were talking before the podcast. You said you checked out a few of our episodes. Do you have any thoughts for us on the podcast?
As far as like improving, is that what you're asking?
Yeah,
I mean, you could say either or. Yeah.
Anything that you enjoyed, anything that you liked, any critiques, any thoughts in general, just on how we're doing as a podcast, really.
Oh, well, I think the podcast is great. To be honest, I just, like I said earlier, I just, I've missed a few episodes here and there, and
just like 10 of them. That's not bad.
But it's cool.
No way, yeah. Hey,
And I mean, as far as improving, I feel like you guys are just already on the right step of. And we talked about this before, because we had all this time, and we
got you, Misa.
And your head's definitely in the right spot, like where you want to take it and where you want to be. So I feel like there's no room for improvement. If you just need help with anything, hit me up. Let me know.
Thank you.
Damn, what a friend, dude.
Hey, we appreciate all the support, dude. Thank you very much.
Anytime you work at something, you want to be better. So I'm glad that what you've heard to now, you can already tell the difference. Like, that's something to be proud of, So thank you.
Right. Yeah.
All right, guys. So let's get this podcast officially off the ground. This is episode 29 with our boy Gregg Wilson. He does stream on Twitch. We will plug his Twitch handle in the description and in the comments of this podcast, and we'll actually go back to this topic in a bit and actually talk more about the gaming and streaming and everything about video games. We'll dive into that in a little bit, but first, guys, we're gonna do our kicking things off segment. But before we do that, we have a tradition on Conversing with Chris and Misa, the podcast. People who have been listening, you guys already know what's about to happen. And I want you to equip yourself and prepare yourself, because right now we're about to crack a celebratory brewski, and here we go.
You always sound constipated, like, I swear.
Man, there's nothing like crack. Oh, Misa.
Those sound like Frosty Bears.
Hey, you know what I was just thinking, dude? I just opened the tall boy, and I'm like only halfway through the other tall boy, and I just opened this one.
Well, thank you for sacrificing.
Now I have 2 beers, just double fist.
Yeah, thank you for sacrificing your beer temperature for the podcast. Everybody likes the beer at the beginning part, so we're going to continue to do that.
Viewing and hearing pleasure.
Let's get into our kicking things off segment. Greg, this kicking things off segment, we just go around our virtual Zoom meeting here, and we just go ahead and give a quick what's new, if you will, with your life, and we'll go one by one. Today, I think I want to start off with Milena here. So what's good with you? What's new?
Not a damn thing. I finished school, so I'm straight chilling right now, and we'll see what happens.
What kind of drink do you got? Because Milena's actually on one right now.
When am I not? And Evan Williams and root beer.
Okay, so we got some drinking on the podcast. Misa, what's new with you?
I cleaned my car today for the first time in probably a year.
Nice, bro.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy, dude, is while I was cleaning my car, there's like this apartment right next to my car, and there was a couple outside arguing in Spanish and shit. And dude, it just sounds so aggressive when it comes to Spanish, you know, and I guess she was kicking the guy out because he was waiting for an Uber. He kept saying, "Estoy esperando un Uber. I'm waiting for my Uber." And then she's like, "Uber, aquí tengo tu Uber, un vergazo." That shit cracked me up, dude. That made my day. But that's been the highlight of my day so far, though.
Hey, I appreciate that Spanish joke for us. Thank you. That doesn't go unnoticed.
That sucks.
Look at Greg. Greg is like,
I don't speak Spanish. So.
Greg doesn't get it. That's why I'm laughing so hard right now. Anyways, Greg.
I mean, I don't get it.
What's new with you, man?
Nothing really. Just I smoked some salmon this weekend, so that was nice.
Nice.
I like fish. I just don't know how to cook it.
Everybody just looks
I don't.
Everybody just paused for a second there. Okay, so
the only reason why I paused is because I was trying to think of like tips to give her, but I don't know how to cook that shit either, dude.
The only one that knows how to cook the salmon is Greg, but he smoked it, so that's a different way to cook it.
Yeah, I smoked it, but I mean, like, what are you trying to do? You're trying to stir fry, trying to throw it in a pan, trying to cook it on the grill.
Listen,
I'm trying to eat it. That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, like you're speaking a whole other language that I don't even understand right now.
Okay, so
dude, a little bit of olive oil in a hot pan and throw that shit in there.
Okay, well, how hot? How long? Like, I need details, man.
Well, you gotta get that oil hot. You're frying some fish. It's a frying temperature.
So hot oil.
Okay.
Look, Misa's
Are we talking like?
Wait, Misa's taking notes for you.
Literally taking notes.
Okay, cool.
With a green screen pen, by the way. How'd you get that?
Send that shit over.
How did he get a green screen? Dude, that's crazy. Misa, he has a green screen right now, and his pen is actually somehow appearing in the green screen, and it's crazy. That's pretty funny. So yeah,
Sick.
Our homie Greg cooked the salmon. That's what's new with him. What's new with me, guys? So we've been putting all these episodes up on YouTube, right? And we've been trying to increase our followers and our subscriptions. And we've been trying. I've followed these podcasting pages on Facebook, right? And I showed Misa about this guy who, like, I don't know. It sounded way too good to be true to me, but he wanted, like, he's like, you pay me $100, I'll get you like 50,000 comments. 50,000 subscribers, 50,000
Shut up and
followers.
take my money!
And then I was like, bro, there's no way like this is legit. So then I look into this guy. This dude only has 5 friends on Facebook, and I'm one of them. I'm like, okay, so those are the other 4 people that you're scamming right now. So that's what I was like. That dude, that shit was crazy to me. And like, I was like, dude, this probably happens all the time. And
that dude needs to help himself first.
Yeah, some guy somewhere. In
why isn't he paying for his own service?
Yeah, dude, some hijacker fucking hacker somewhere is just like waiting for you to send your PayPal shit to him, and then he's like, "Black, got your account, brother. See you later." So
got him.
Yeah, got him. So that's so that was kind of like one of the things that I've been dealing with recently. And then I also have this other idea, guys, right? And if you think about the what's going on in the world right now, we have a global pandemic. We have protests over racial equality in America and throughout the world. So I was kind of thinking, what is the next phase of 2020 that is about to fuck us all up, that we're not prepared for, but that is realistic and that could actually happen, right? And so my question to you guys is, what if we woke up tomorrow and the fucking internet was dead, gone, like it just didn't exist?
I'd be cool.
Like it just got shut down. No. Think of how this would affect everyday life. Like the internet is now gone. Boom.
I'd be cool.
You know what I mean? Like, Greg, what
I don't
do you
know
think about that?
Flare signals, bat signals, like, fuck it. Take the phone. We're good.
I don't think you're thinking about this on the scale of like.
If there's
I mean, it would definitely it would it would ruin the world.
It would
Are you
ruin
talking
the
just like
world.
us? Yeah, it would ruin the world.
Like it would fuck
The way
up-
that everything is
Yes.
based on right now, like it would ruin the world.
Yeah.
We'll literally go to like a third world country if that shit happens.
and if you think about it, it's not like something crazy like an asteroid hitting the Earth and destroying anything.
But isn't that bad? Like one
This is
single thing can ultimately make or break an entire world. Like, doesn't that mean something bad? You know what I mean? Like, if you can't live without the internet, like
no, it's not about living without. It's just how the internet is built into the infrastructure of everybody's life.
of everyday life.
So
yeah.
like, it doesn't
Dude,
mean
it's
that
That's
you're
like
on
one
the
thing.
internet
It's like
all the time.
it's banking, it's transit,
It's all over the place.
everything.
So
But
now,
you can drive to the bank.
No, but you're completely missing the point. You're completely missing the point that everything runs off the idea of that you have the internet. Everything, right?
Dude,
mean
imagine
like-
all those like Amazon.
Like your
fucking-
money, your money
access
is electronical. Is
Right. So
electronic.
that's what I
Sorry,
mean.
not
So like
electronical.
accessing
Your money
it and
isn't
stuff.
even real anymore. Your money is direct deposited into a bank, and all it is numbers and digits. So the internet goes out, boom, right away. You don't know how much money you have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like number one, and then everything else around you just fucking starts collapsing. But that's a question I just wanted to pose to you guys. Misa, thoughts on that?
Dude, that's actually, I mean, if you think about it, nothing's gonna fucking work.
Dude,
Like, I'd have to pay, like, I'd have to, like, sell a goat to pay for gas or some shit.
but isn't that just like right up
Yeah.
2020's like avenue? Like, okay,
I wouldn't be,
what's
I wouldn't be
next?
surprised, you know, if that's what you're saying, dude.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah, yeah.
I wouldn't,
I mean,
I
like,
wouldn't.
if it was down, if it was tomorrow, and tomorrow's the fucking day the internet's gone, I'd be like, well, all right,
That shit would
Yeah,
be
that's
so
what I
crazy.
mean, like-
keep it coming, I guess. You know what I mean? But like, infrastructure wise, everything would be fucked. Everything would be ruined.
But I feel like it wouldn't be. I think it would just be another form of reconstruction or revolution. Like there was a point in time where we lived without it.
No, yes.
So it's not like
Yeah, yeah.
impossible. You know what I
No,
mean?
yes, it's not impossible. It's just that like the dependability, like the way that people depend on the internet now has changed from what
Yeah.
it was 20
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah,
and
for
I'm just
sure.
saying, like, if you're thinking about something that's gonna happen bad in 2020 that hasn't already happened already, but that is feasible, like it's not like I'm saying that like the world is just gonna end one day. It's like this is something that could actually happen. Like in today's world, and then boom, just like set everything off. You know
Well,
what I mean?
Yeah,
I
I wouldn't,
mean,
I
like,
wouldn't be.
I mean, like they set all this stuff up now, and like with the advancement of technologies, like they have infrastructures where if one thing fails, you have a backup for another. You know what I mean? And that's the way the world works. You know what I mean? What if this happens? Now we have this to fall back on. So like,
You know how many
like,
kids
if
would start
everything were
failing
to
school?
fail- Huh?
You know how many kids are gonna start failing schools and shit?
You know
Like,
what? You
now
know,
they won't be able to GTS anything.
hey, you know how
Dude.
many parents would actually have to start taking care of their kids?
Fact.
And it went down. A lot of them. All right, so I just wanted to throw that out there to you guys. Just a little thought that came into my mind one day when I was at work and just thinking about all this crazy shit that's happened in 2020. So let's keep this podcast moving. Greg, me and you have been boys since we were like fucking 2 or 3 or 4
Yeah.
or whatever.
The beginning of time.
We have a lot of stories we could tell, a lot of memories, but just go ahead and kind of tell kind of like how we met, like kind of how our relationship started from the very beginning.
I mean, it would have to definitely be our fathers. You know, they went to school together. They're best friends growing up, and
Your dad is so
you know,
nice.
well, thank you. Yeah, he's a good guy. I love him. But I mean, like that's definitely how we met. If it wouldn't have been for them, we probably never would have met. I mean, maybe in Mitzi Bond, maybe.
We might have stumbled across one
So
another.
where'd you go to high
Right.
school?
I went to Franklin, and I know he went to Coronado.
Okay. And how many years apart are you? Like, what year did you graduate?
I was supposed to be 09, but I did 10.
Okay.
Me and Greg are literally like the same age.
Well, I was just seeing, like I
Like,
didn't know
straight
how.
up,
I
we're
mean,
literally,
I
like,
assumed you were close in age, but
same
I didn't
fucking
know.
age.
Yeah,
Honestly, he just has so many family members. I just don't know what's what.
Dude.
Like,
right.
I just remember back in the day, like they always would pick us up from school together. Like we would be
Nice.
getting off of school, and then both your dad and my dad were like there to pick us up, and they're like, "All right, let's go to the river. We're gonna go drink, and you guys can do."
Yeah,
whatever you
yeah.
guys
They
want."
would already have a cooler full of fucking beer and ice ready to go, and that would be the outing. And if it wouldn't be to the river, it'd be to Chris's house or it'd be to my house, and we just chill in the garage and
and
throw the
find
football
something
around
to do.
and just,
Yeah, they're like,
you
"Go
know.
ahead and entertain yourself."
And then now it's pretty much you guys are doing what your dads are doing, right?
Exactly.
yeah.
That's
Everything
exactly
The
what
circle
we're
of life is coming. It's repeating itself.
You know what's funny is the first time I ever heard about you, Greg, was he described you as like one of the first friends he ever had.
My first best friend, bro.
Yeah, and
For
I
real.
was like, damn, like that's pretty deep, like because
true.
Yeah, we all have those friends. And then, I finally met you and I was like, holy shit, like they've known each other like their whole lives, like it's cool. It's cool to see that and witness that because he grew up here. So
yeah. For real, that's what I would say is like, I'd be like, yo, this was like my, like, I think somebody asked me, I don't even know if it was you, Misa, but you're like, you know who Gregg Wilson was? Or
Oh,
is?
yeah.
And then
yeah.
I was like, oh, you mean my first best friend ever? Like, oh yeah, I know that guy. Like, yeah, dude, like, come on. But like, you had no idea, you know what I mean? Because like, it's just crazy how like all this shit turns out, and like over time, like we were so close when we were little, and then life happens. But I don't know, it's funny. Thoughts on that, Greg?
Well, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I mean, we grew up from second grade or first grade all the way up, and like definitely, I feel like us growing apart was definitely in Coronado and Franklin. Not that we weren't, I mean, like physically we were at different schools, but I mean, like we would still hang out on the weekends because our parents were still so close.
yeah,
and,
you guys were still chill,
you know what I mean?
but yeah.
Right, all the time. And then graduation happens, and like I moved away. Like things just happen, and it's like it doesn't mean
Life.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like we're not best friends anymore. We're not like super close, but I mean like growing up with all those.
Hey, real
with
quick,
all those
you hear
things.
that, Chris? You guys aren't best friends anymore. How you feel about that?
Because I thought you and me were best friends, way.
Oh, damn
Hey, Misa, your uncle's back.
No, but I said it's not like we're not best friends anymore.
Hey, Greg, that was Misa's uncle, dude. He chimes in from time to time. He stays
Oh,
at the
sick.
house.
What's up, Misa's uncle?
He drinks nothing but natural light and eats nothing but ramen noodles. And he just likes to hear the banter that we do here on this podcast. But
Right, hell yeah.
So, anyways,
I love it.
Number one fan.
But yeah, that's just a little background about how like me and Greg met, how our relationship developed. How like you and Misa, did you meet Greg in high school, or like when did you meet this dude?
We met in middle school.
Okay,
Right.
So around the same time we met.
Wow.
Right. But I remember him mostly in high school. We started talking a lot more in high school. And I remember I have this memory of you. I forgot what class it was, dude, but they had to separate us because we were always laughing and shit. So you're like on the other side of the fucking room, and I'm sitting there. And as I'm writing, I'm right next to the teacher's desk. I can't fucking think who it was, but all I see is like something just like go like right in front of me, and this motherfucker had thrown a colored pencil or some shit like that. And he missed me, and it fucking went and hit the teacher on the desk, and then it bounced and hit her.
Oh shit.
She's all like, "Who did that?" And all you hear is Greg is like, "Misa!" Like, but that's how we were back then, man. And the thing is that I remember is we never really like hung out much or anything outside of school, but we were always really cool with each other in school and stuff like that, and even till now, you know.
Yeah. Like there's not a day go by where I'm like, oh fuck, Misa. Oh yeah. Like when Chris asked me, like if I knew you, I was like, yeah. Oh, Misa, what the fuck?
What kind of stupid?
He mows my lawn on the weekend.
Oh, please, what the fuck? But no, I mean, like, yeah. Well, we spoke about this before we got started. Like, my memory's not very really that good, but I mean, that definitely sounds like something I would do. And yeah, I do remember having classes with you.
Yeah,
And
it was fun, man.
I feel like our relationship developed too, just because we're fucking goofballs, and
Yeah.
yeah, I
That's
mean,
all it
like,
is, dude.
whatever. What more do you need to say? It's like
Right.
we're just
Yeah.
goofy fucking kids.
Hey, I
Back
think
then, you know?
I think we are a little bit goofy here on Conversing
Yeah,
with Chris
exactly.
and Misa, the podcast. So let's keep this shit rolling, Greg. We know now that you're streaming, but let's not get into that just yet. Before this, you were working out in the oil field, correct?
Yes.
Oh no way! I didn't know
5
that,
years.
dude. Holy shit!
So-
What the fuck was that
Oh.
like?
Well, let's set the scene real fast. So,
Oily.
dirty, hard. Anyway, fucking that all sounded wrong right there.
Exactly.
Set the scene for us. Like, where exactly? Like, where are you working? like what you don't have to tell us who you're working for, but like where, and then like what was your like job essentially?
Oh, well, when I first started out, primarily like my headquarters was in Carlsbad, and I'll say who I was working for was Halliburton. I'm like, fuck them, I don't care.
Oh,
But like,
Shout out, shout out.
No, I'm just kidding. No, primarily like it was based out of Carlsbad, New Mexico. That's where my headquarters was.
yeah.
But over the course of 5 years in the changing industry of oil that it is, you know, like things happen. Towards the end there, my primary spot was Odessa and Midland.
Hey,
You know,
Did you enjoy it?
I did. I would say I enjoyed more of the people that I worked with, like the relationships that I developed.
Right.
As far as the work, in the beginning, it was hard. It was just like any other job you didn't know anything about, and you know the oil fields don't require you, especially when you go in as like in the fracking department, like I was. It was very different, I guess. Like I worked in industrial before. Like I worked at what's the refinery we have here now?
it was
something else.
Western Refinery. Yeah,
It's
Yeah,
been
so
bought
when it
out,
was
like,
Western-
twice.
they recently changed the name, but
Right.
everybody
So
knows
when it
we're
was
talking
Western
about.
Refinery, I worked there for a short time and developed welding skills. And after that, I went to the railroad up here in Santa Teresa. I was a contractor for Union Pacific, and then I took those, I guess,
Skills.
abilities that I developed from there. Yeah, those skills, and one day I left the railroad and I went over there, and it was nothing like I've ever done before. Like.
Was that your first time like leaving home and shit like that, living on your own? Because when it comes to that, you have to live out there, right? It's not like you could go drive fucking 2-3 hours every day.
So the first part of that, no, because I lived when I first graduated, I moved back to Oregon. I worked at our family, or not really family anymore because they got divorced, but you know this, Chris, my uncle's wife, their parents started like a wholesale organic food distributor out there, like Glory Be Foods is what it was called,
Yeah, I remember.
or what it is called still.
Yeah, I'm aware of that.
Yeah. So I worked out there for a while, and then I eventually, you know, it just didn't work out, and I came back home. But
How long were you out there for?
about a year and a half.
Was this like right after high school?
Yes. Like I was pretty sure I was like 18, 19, like right there. And so as far as living out there, I would be out there for 2 weeks at a time. Like this was my schedule. It would be 14 days off and 14 days on, 7 days off.
Oh shit.
Wow.
Hey, straight up.
I think that sounds cool though. I think I like that.
Yeah, it was cool. And then like sometimes I wouldn't come home. I would work my week off, and then I would stay another 2 weeks. So that would be 5 weeks on, and then I would get my 7 days off.
Nice.
So I mean, like, yeah, it was cool. They provided housing, 3 meals a day, you know, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If you wake up and you get there and you get it, you know.
Yeah.
Sounds like the army. I love it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they probably got a lot worse than I did for sure. Every once in a while we'd have to stay in hotels, but you know that was also paid for by the company, and you would get per diem and shit like that. And yeah,
So what made you quit? Like going back to Odessa after all that? What made you like just after 5 years of doing that?
I was just in a position where it didn't make sense to me anymore, and it was pretty apparent that they didn't give a shit about anybody that was out there. Especially it dawned on me when the whole COVID thing started, because there was all these national regulations, and like Halliburton, and not only Halliburton, but all the other third-party companies out there, like the places we were staying at, the lodging facilities, they weren't adhering to these regulations. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was like, right.
They didn't care. They was just like about making the money and doing the
Right,
job,
exactly. And you know, it's oil, so that's what they're always all about. So it doesn't really matter. But at the end of the day, I was just like, I don't want to jeopardize. And this is when it was like barely getting started, and like it was coming from everywhere, like every state, every fucking major city. And the oil fields in Texas aren't based around people in Texas. Like that's just not what it is. It's from people in Louisiana, like, and that's where like the heat of it was at the moment. But it's like it's from all over. If you have the means to want to work in the oil fields from wherever you're at in the country, you can.
You can do it. Yeah. For real.
And that scared the shit out of me, because I was like, well, these places that I'm staying at, like I'm sharing a bathroom with someone. Someone comes into my room every day. I don't know where they come from, because they don't live in this town, they do the same shit. Like they'll go and work at these lodging facilities for 6 or 7 months or 1 week, and then I don't know
like walking blind. You don't know what's what, and there's no way you could I guess take several steps to make sure that you don't get that shit. But that's understandable, man.
Right. And like I was taking all my precautions I could, like gloves, touching shit that's not mine. You know what I mean? Like every single doorknob, every single handle, whatever. Flushing the toilet because I don't know where my roommate's from. He's on a different schedule. And
no kissing your workmates.
Exactly. Only if you put on, like a little rubber Band-Aid or something.
A little layer of lip gloss to keep it off.
Yeah.
Or something. Yeah, dude,
like three layers of it.
Yeah, so that's kind of interesting to learn and understand how like the outbreak of COVID-19 could affect the industry of like oil and the workers and like it's understandable. Like, bro, I wouldn't want to be like around a whole bunch of people that, like you said, they'll come stay here for a while and then they'll go back to wherever it is that they live or wherever they call home. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, that looks like that seems like all those factors added together. You'd be like, I'm probably going to catch COVID here. So it's probably not the best idea to.
Well, it was in my best interest. And it like I said, it just dawned on me. I was like, you know what? These guys don't give a shit. And it would have been a different story if it would have been just me and my crew, because I know where they're all at. I know what they're all doing. You know what I mean? Well, like it wasn't like that because the COVID hit, together, everything slowed down. We lost our contract with a company because they had to shut down. Like when they started laying off the guys from the crew, and it was mainly like the higher tier guys that were staying, like myself. Now I wasn't a part of my crew. Now I was a part of the entire Permian Basin. It was just like, if they needed one guy, I would go and help these guys out for a while and then maybe go to another place. And now it was more susceptible to this crew of 20 people and this crew of 20 people and another crew of 20 people, instead of just my guys where I know where they're from and what they're doing,
I mean, like in your experience, man, it kind of gives us another view on how COVID could affect, because I mean, I have several friends that had lost their jobs because they had to close, but COVID-19, like in your experience, affected you in a sense that, hey, my company's not doing shit to at least protect us from this.
Right. It's always like that double-sided side of it,
That sucks, man. So what? So after that, you just decided, you know what, I'm done with this shit. I'm going back home, and that's where you're at now, or what's new?
Yeah, man. I just I thought about it and I quit. Drove back home after 4.5 hours, and here I am.
Hey.
So,
so now that you're back in EP, like, did you like? Could you tell us, I guess, like, what's the worst or scariest like situation you were put out like into because you were working in the oil fields?
As far as like danger wise, as far as like my health or my life being at risk.
Yeah, danger wise.
Well, yeah, I mean, pretty much just the entire job of it. I mean, my position, I guess, kind of put me more outside of danger than where I was at when I first started. But I mean, like,
I think, I mean, in my opinion, I think when it comes to like jobs like that, I think the bigger risk is the person itself. Like the job could be dangerous, but it's up to that person that's working that job.
Right.
To know to everybody. Exactly. Like if you have the skills for it and shit, like,
yeah,
you
develop that trust.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
And it like, I'll be the first person to say, if I don't trust somebody, or if I didn't trust somebody, I would say, hold on, let me do it, because I trust myself more than I would trust you to do it. And it just goes to a matter of like, during a fracking stage, it would be sometimes the most pressure I ever saw was almost 14,700 pounds. You know what I mean?
Damn.
And that's per square inch.
Yeah. It's a lot of pressure, guys.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's dangerous. Don't get me wrong. But if you just do it right and you learn from the right people and they tell you how to do things the right way and the processes, like it's just like, it kind of just goes with everything, I mean, like when you cut a piece of steak, you're not going to put your fucking hand under there. Like you get taught these things, I mean, like just to kind of put that as like an analogy for it, I guess.
Yeah. So you miss it though?
I'll say more. I miss more the guys that I worked with, for sure.
Companionship.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean,
I'm just
you
kidding,
gotta
bro.
think
I know
about
what you're saying though.
when you realize you at least work 2 weeks at a time with a crew out of the year, right? 2 weeks on, 7 weeks off. So you 7 weeks off. You're working at least 2/3 of your time of your year with those people, right?
Right.
So like even if you stay longer, at that point, your crew is like your family. So
And it's kind of like human nature, man. Like you spend so much time with somebody, you're bound to make a relationship with that person.
Right. Yeah.
You have no other
exactly.
choice. Right.
All right, so let's transition to what you're doing now, which is, like you said earlier, you said you were gaming and streaming. Go ahead and tell our audience where they can check you out. Tell us a little bit about your stream, what it is that you do, and kind of how you got started doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess primarily like we talked about it earlier. I pretty much just call it like a full-time hobby. I have
Same.
like I don't want to say it's like a full-time. I don't know. There's like another word for it, but I'm not thinking about it at the moment. But like it's not work for me. It's just it's something I like to do, and people come in and hang out, so it's cool.
Hey, that's what's up, dude. So,
Yeah.
real fast, can you tell everyone, all our listeners, where they can find your streaming
plug
at
it in.
on Twitch?
Tell us where you're
Oh
at.
yeah. Twitch.tv /Balake Will, and I don't know if you'll drop a link or something like that in there, but
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll do that.
we're
Yeah,
definitely
for
going to do
sure
that
we will.
for you. So it's Balake Will. Greg's middle name is Blake, so that's
Yeah.
kind of where the.
do you know where I got the
Balake
name
comes from.
Balake? A lot of people don't.
No, dude, I have no idea, but
Tell
it
us.
sounds like it sounds like it has its roots in your name being your middle name being Blake.
Yes, it does. So have you ever heard of well, I'm sure you have Key and Peele?
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you seen the substitute teacher sketch
No.
or sketch?
I can't say that I have.
Okay, so have you ever looked that up?
Hold on.
He's a
let me pause
substitute
you
teacher.
real fast.
Yeah.
Misa just left to go take his shit. Just let that be known on the podcast.
Oh my
Okay, so
All
go
right.
back to
All
your
right.
Key and Peele story.
Okay, so Key and Peele, you
That's
know,
why I
famous
told you not
comedians.
to be distracted by this guy. This is what happens. Okay, go
Oh,
on.
this is great.
We'll carry this
I could
podcast
tell it was
without-
bothering him. He was like
Yeah, he was moving all
shimmying
crazy.
around. He's like,
His
oh god, I
face-
can't hold it anymore.
Like his face, he was getting all like he looked like he was in discomfort. Okay, so back to the Key and Peele story.
Yeah, so they're famous comedians, you know, Comedy Central. They have their own show, whatever. But like this one that really stuck out to me was Substitute Teacher, and he's a substitute teacher, and he's just reading off a list of names, like taking roster,
Okay.
and he's like, "Where's D Nice? Has anybody seen D Nice?" And like nobody answers. It's just silent. And so like he's like, "There's no D Nice here. There's no D Nice." And she's like, "Do you mean Denise?" And he's like, "God damn it." So then another one, he goes to like, he's like, "Where's Balake at? Where's Balake?" And this dude like has on these little glasses or whatever, and he's like, "Do you mean Blake?" And he fucking throws a fit and breaks everything on his table.
Okay.
That's you.
And that always stuck with me because I was like, "Well, my middle name's Blake," and I like that skit. So
So
that's
there's
where the name
Blake.
came from.
so yeah,
Black.
there's a little context of how Greg got his name for his Twitch and his streaming account. So what, like, real fast, tell the audience what kind of games do you like to stream? What's your favorite game to stream? And then what's your favorite game of all time?
Well, before we do that, what I want to know is what got you into wanting to do all this streaming stuff that's gaming? Have you always been into like gaming like your whole life to where like you're like, you know what, when I get older and internet comes along and streaming starts happening, I'm going to do that shit.
I'm gonna get
I
paid
wanna-
for it.
Not necessarily that. I feel like I had that idea kind of when I was playing like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, like at friends' houses, you know what I mean? And it was more of like being an announcer at that point.
Commentating?
Ah, I see.
Back in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, like it was just a good game, and I was good at it, and I developed, you know, skills to be able to play games and play it well, you know what I mean? It's kind of stand out in a crowd against these other people in like a multiplayer lobby. And I guess in recent years, it would just be kind of people telling me I should do it and give it a shot and try it out. And I did, and for the longest time it was nobody in there but me. Like it was my setup. I was playing a game and I had my laptop right next to me, and it was just I was the one viewer, the one guy in there for months, like almost 2 years.
I remember when it started, or when I first, because I never really got into. I've always liked games and stuff, but once all this got trending to where guys were streaming and stuff like that, I just never. Just the thought of it was like, why am I gonna sit here and watch somebody play? It's gonna make me want to play.
Right,
but,
I get that all the time. Yeah,
right. But I think what I realized after watching it, and it was with you, when you would I would always tell you to give a shout out to my mom and shit.
Yeah, mama,
yeah. Shout out to Misa's mom, and that's when I started noticing, man. It was mostly of also the content of like what you were saying, kind of like how you're talking, being I guess like a host or whatever, it's just,
right. At that point, it's more like being an entertainer, and
yeah,
like,
exactly.
To be individualized with a live entertainer is kind of something different than going back and watching like some gameplay about something else from a different creator. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And
yeah.
I'm not going to say it's easy, because I mean it definitely wasn't. Like chat interaction, especially when you don't have anybody in your chat, is like really hard.
But but you know what, you did good, man. Because I remember when I started, when I would go and log in and watch it would be like me and like another guy or two other people or something.
Yeah.
But you kept it going, man. The conversation, sometimes at one time I would be the only one listening, but you kept going with it. And that's interesting. That's when I realized, man, like it made me feel like I was on your team. Whatever you were playing, I was on your team. Like I
right,
forgot.
right, you're a part of it. And now,
exactly.
And now you like established that community.
Yeah. And that right there gave me, it showed me how entertaining it could be. I had to give it a chance, and you showed me that, bro, and I appreciate that, bro.
Yeah.
Shout out to Greg.
Yeah.
Just get rid of the Facebook one and come over to Twitch so you can come hang out.
Yeah, I got you, dude. Actually, it's just like a week ago I downloaded the app. So
hell yeah.
bro.
Yeah, so I think one of the interesting things about like streaming and in particular about actually be able like trying to become a successful streamer is you got to have a personality, man. You got to give somebody a reason to come back and interact with you. And the reason that they might do that is because they build a connection through either something that you say, the way you play, being able to relate to the game, and the passion of liking the same video game as another person. But I also think it's kind of the same to the reason we do the podcast. Like you just want to be able to relate with people, and you just want to have a personality, and you want to have something that will draw somebody back to you and say, hey, I want to go check out these guys, or I want to make sure I subscribe and catch his next Twitch stream because it's something that I can relate to, right, and it's entertaining and it's funny, and I find comfort in it. So
right,
it's real cool, dude. I really like what you're doing with that. Like I said, I don't know. I feel like there's always a space for somebody to, like, whether it's a podcast, whether it's like a streaming, like what you do as a gamer. There's always a space for somebody to express themselves, and it looks like you found it, and I'm glad to see that. And shout out to you for all that, dude, for real.
Thanks. And I'll touch on, because you asked like what games I play. Like primarily now, like I'm just like what you would call a variety streamer. Okay. And I'll play basically almost anything and everything. But like I feel like now I've developed, and when I say I mean we, like as my community as a whole, developed more of like a personal relationship, because now that anybody that comes in there is like a part of this community, and it's not just about the game that I'm playing or the status that I'm at in this particular game. Now it's like personality driven, like, and it's not with like Misa said earlier, where it was just him sometimes, or maybe like 3 or 4 other people in there. Now it's everybody in there. They go to see their friends, their community, and like be a part of it and converse with each other. Like, what'd you do today? How are you? And now it's not even about the game. Now it's more about it's just community driven, and it's just like it grows and people stick around and stay.
You're like the seed of all this. What started all that, man? And that's fucking awesome, dude. That, in my opinion, is real cool.
All right.
Oh,
dude.
yeah, thank you.
So I asked you real fast what your favorite video game of all time was. If you had to only play one game for the rest of your life, which game would it be? That's a loaded question, bro. I know.
Yeah, that's tough.
for me,
That's a
too.
big tough one.
You sick
Um,
fuck.
Man, I want to be nostalgic and go with something classic, but I feel like
He's like the games.
there's
are so
not
much
enough
better
content
now,
to
yeah.
last the rest of your lifetime with
Yeah,
it. You know.
exactly. I feel you on
But
that.
that's the thing.
And-
Like it's a game that has to last you the rest of your life. You know what I
Right,
mean?
and that's why like I want to say so deeply, like I want to go back and be like, yo, Mario 64 or like GoldenEye, but at the end of the day, it will become stale, and
Hey,
it does, and it has, and that's
Twi-
why it's not around anymore.
Twisted Metal Black.
So okay, yeah. What game?
Right? Yeah,
Wow.
like Twisted Metal Black. Like I mean,
Those shits are legendary.
and that was
games.
like a community, not a community, but that was like a multiplayer game. Your buddy would come over, and you had another controller, like fucking get down on some Twisted Metal, you know?
Yeah.
Super Smash Bros.
All right.
Super Smash Bros.
Is that
Yeah,
your
I mean,
final answer?
I feel like
No,
I feel like maybe.
he's trying to still figure out what his final answer is.
Yeah, I just this is a tough question. I would have to go with something online. Maybe at this point right now, I would probably say like Warzone. That's where I'm spending most of my time if I'm gaming.
Hell
There
yeah!
you go. Hey, that
Fuck the gulag.
Yeah, dude, fuck the gulag.
we've been dabbling in Warzone too, so that's what's up, dude. Well, real fast, let everybody know where they can catch your stream. Let them know where you're at. That way,
Plug us
our
in.
audience can try to support your audience, and hopefully, your audience can support our audience. But let everybody know where they can find you at real fast. Just let everybody know where you can
I
find
was like,
you.
all right. Yeah, no, it's twitch.tv/Balakay BALAKAYWIL.
Okay, guys.
And you know, it's a play on my name, Blake Will Wilson, my last name, obviously.
So we will be posting the links to his Twitch in the description of the podcast. So be on the lookout for that. So if you want to check him out,
Hey, real quick. How often do you post or go live or stream and stuff like that?
I try and stream every single day,
Nice.
there you go. You see?
Holy
even
shit.
if it's for 2 hours or 20.
Holy
you know,
fuck.
whatever.
Shit, wait, what's the longest you've gone?
20 hours and 20 minutes.
God
If
damn.
Jeez.
you're
2020.
sitting-
That's a
no.
That's dedication.
No.
That's dedication right there.
No. Wait. You're
I'm going to be
telling-
doing a 24-hour one soon.
You guys listen to that? You know what? I'm gonna be a part of that. I'm gonna try and stay up for 24 hours with you.
So wait a second. I just want to clarify. You're going to sit down for 24 hours straight and just fucking game. Holy
There's
fuck.
more to it than just gaming. Like,
Yeah,
we'll go to
you're not
just chatting.
gaming.
We'll do some
Yeah.
community
No.
games.
Yeah,
The
you're,
point
you're
is,
not. Well, no. But
That's
hold on.
dedication. That's cool as fuck. 24 hours,
Yeah.
dude. Like, please. I want to see that
So
shit.
if anything, it would be best to phrase it as you're going to be doing 24 hours. Of
I don't care. I
being
want to see it.
engaged with your audience, which is cool.
Like,
Right.
that's fucking
Yeah.
cool. I'm down.
Dude, I could go to sleep, wake
Yeah.
up, watch this guy for a while, take a nap,
I'm
wake
gonna
up,
pop-
watch him again.
Because if you phrase it the other way, where like you're playing video games for a whole day, like of
No.
course all the
Yeah,
older
Lena.
people are gonna be like, oh, what a loser! Like, get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So let's get that stigma out of
Well,
here.
no, I mean, like, no, that's a valid question, though. That's a valid question because,
And at the same
I mean-
time, fuck what you all think.
I.
well,
Hey,
no, I
straight
mean,
up.
like, at the same time, a
Straight
lot of
up.
people are just like, well, why is he going to, they wouldn't know that unless you ask that question.
Hey.
So, like, no, it won't be just video games, like the entire 24 hours. And that's not the time that you implied it, but like, there's so much more. And if you just go on Twitch, like, it's not just games. It's like, it's art. Like there's literally like an art section where people are just going, and you want to learn art one day, you want to buy like a canvas and paint and follow along with somebody, you can. You want to learn how to cook, there's cooking channels. Like,
Okay,
Oh
look.
you wanna
shit!
learn
No,
crafts, there's craft
dude,
channels.
salmon. Know how to cook some salmon? There you go. Yeah.
Yeah,
hell
see, there you go.
Okay, so let's take a break, guys, and then we'll get back into this podcast. When we come back from the break, we're gonna give a little update about what's going on with these protests, a little bit of an update about what's going on throughout the country, and then we're gonna do some the funniest things we saw on the internet today. We got 5 random questions for Greg, and I think these are actually really good questions.
Hell
and
yeah.
then we'll give our final thoughts, and we'll be out. But before we do that, guys, make sure to go check us out on Facebook, follow our Instagram, subscribe to our Twitter page. Or God, this is the second time I said Twitter instead of YouTube, bro.
Yeah,
I've been doing this. I don't know why I keep thinking we have a Twitter page, but yeah, go subscribe to our YouTube page, follow us on Facebook, like our Instagram. We'll take a quick break and then we'll converse. We'll continue conversing with Chris and Misa, the podcast, episode 29, featuring our boy Greg. Greg, once again, shout out to you for being on the podcast. So we will take a break. Misa's gonna go take a shit, and we'll be right back. All right, let's go.
Yee!
All right, guys, we are back from our break. This is episode 29 of Conversing with Chris and Misa, the podcast. Make sure to go follow us on Facebook, like our Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube page. Check out our boy Greg as well. Once again, thanks a lot for being on this podcast with us. So we're going to get into a few things. First off, we're going to do a little update on a few of the protests that are going on right now throughout the country. Greg, you weren't with us for the last episode where we talked a lot about what's actually going on. The killing of George Floyd, all that stuff that's going on right now. Do you have any thoughts, opinions on the matter?
Yeah, but I mean, like, I don't want to be too controversial. My opinions are my opinions, but I mean, like, Black Lives Matter, and I think we need to stand up for this movement, and it needs to end now. You know, all this shit that they've been through, and
it's inhumane.
It's always been there, and people have been blind to see it, and I feel like now, since it's more apparent, I would say sign any petition you can.
Exactly.
And make your voice heard and be a part of the history, you know.
Be a part of the change.
You know what? Be a part of the change. Being 2020, the year 2020, and all this shit that has gone on, you know, it's a historical year for sure. But I think when it comes to this, I think it's very different because, I mean, yeah, it's happened before. We've seen these protests. But this is something that people are willing to go the distance. You know, it's been almost 3 weeks or since 3 weeks ago that he's passed away. You know, George Floyd, and for people to this day doing massive, you know, peaceful protests.
It's global.
It's global now. You know, and that right there is like, it's awesome to see. It's mind blowing, but at the same time, it's disappointing that it's also 2020 and we're still having to deal with this.
I guess that's I guess I agree with you 100%. And it's like, it's 2020. We're still fighting racism. Like, why can't we just love each other? You know what I mean? Like, it seems so simple, yet it's not. People don't make it and people don't want to do the right thing.
So real fast, guys, the whole reason we brought this up, we just wanted to give a quick update of what's going on. I have an article from The Guardian that I kind of just want to read over for you guys and then get a little bit of your reaction to it. To me, when I saw this article, it was alarming. Not only was it, to me, that it seemed unfair, but it also kind of shed a brighter light on what it is that's going on here in the United States and exposing a little bit more of the police brutality. So let me read a little excerpt from the article. Over 10,000 people have been arrested around the U.S. Police are regularly using pepper spray, rubber bullets, tear gas, and batons at peaceful protests.
And that's banned in war.
And then this is also another part that I just wanted to mention. Since George Floyd's death at the hands of police in Minneapolis, Minnesota, about 140 cities in all 50 states throughout the U.S. have seen protests and demonstrations in response to the killing. More than 10,000 people have been arrested around the U.S. during the protests as police forces regularly use pepper spray, rubber bullets, tear gas, batons on protesters, media, and bystanders. I'm sure you guys all saw that video that came from Buffalo, New York, when they pushed over that old man. He fell, he hit his head, started bleeding like on site, and none of the officers were willing to help him. This is just kind of like the current state of America right now, where, like you guys said, people are going to the distance. They're willing to get arrested over this, And
no justice, no peace, man.
And the way that the police are handling this should even shed a brighter light on the true root and cause of the problem, where it kind of does start with the police and the force that they're using. So real fast, let's go around the Zoom call. Misa, your thoughts, and then we'll throw it to Greg, and then we'll give Lena a chance at the end to come in. So real fast, Misa, thoughts on that?
Dude, I think I mean, I've never seen this kind of stuff this big in my lifetime. I mean, we've seen the riots and the protests before when it's happened with other victims. But I think the difference here is like I said, it's just the persistence of it. Like people just, you know, they're willing to keep going until something is done, you know, like what they chat, what everything is, you know, it's justice, you know. Well, how do they say? What do they say?
No justice, no peace, bro.
There you go. Sound like that.
Forgot the chat literally like 30 seconds after you said it. So okay, well, let's go to Greg on this one now. Greg, thoughts on everything that I just read to you about how many people are getting protested or how many people are getting arrested?
But
protesting.
You know what? Real quick, also, I believe also a lot of this people getting arrested. I know there's some people that are being arrested when they're protesting peacefully and lawfully. But a lot of this also has to do with all those people that are looting. You know, I've seen videos of like
yeah, dude,
few,
but
like,
10,000.
I saw this video of like 30 people getting arrested.
Yeah, I know,
looting,
but 10,000
you know?
people is not just everybody's looting, dude. That's more than the people that are actually doing the looting. 10,000 is a significant number because it shows you that really the people that have the right to protest and are doing so peacefully. The police are still arresting you for that, and that's a huge
right. But
deal.
I mean, I don't know if you remember, and it's not like I'm defending these people. I'm just trying to lay out, you know, the facts or from what I've seen, and a lot of these people got arrested too because when it came down to it and these riots started, the city put a curfew on this.
Yeah.
You know?
So they got arrested for violating curfew, which
right.
Like I'm saying is. You still have your right to protest. Why the fuck is this curfew implemented? It doesn't mean that you need to be arrested and taken into police custody. And the whole way these people are getting treated while in police custody, that's a whole nother issue. We're not even going to touch that right now. But Greg, just thoughts about what I read to you real fast.
Right. So I mean, 10,000 people is a lot of people.
That's a lot of people, dude. Getting arrested.
It's a lot of fucking people, and keep in mind
that's like all of Chris's family.
Well, that's on my mom's side.
I kind of want to touch on something with that 10,000 people. That's a big number, and that's a lot of different people from a lot of different areas. A lot of different incomes come to play during that thought. You know what I mean? A lot of these people might not be able to post bail.
Yep.
If you were to 1 second just open up your Twitter feed and hit that little search button, you would get maybe 20 different bailouts in 20 different cities across the nation that you can go and donate, help these people get out because they were protesting peacefully, because they weren't charged with anything else other than protesting or maybe breaking your curfew.
They wouldn't be charged with protesting, but they would be charged with violating curfew.
Right, exactly. So like what I'm saying, like if they were charged with like breaking a curfew implementation or something like that.
Which
like,
is basically just a fucking random city ordinance that can be placed at any time. And it's not
to legally shut people up.
No, yes,
right.
Well,
exactly.
Hold on. Let's not say it's legal, but it's just a mechanism to use to get people to stop
legally
trying to protest and voice their concerns for an issue that they feel matters to them. So that's kind of like where I'm saying, like, you're really gonna get.
Yeah, no, like I don't agree with it at all.
And then not only that. Like, you're arresting people under the circumstances where there's a global pandemic. You know, where it's a hot spot for COVID-19 cases and the spread of them? How about county jail? Like, you really want to be thrown in there because you were out there protesting for Black Lives Matter? Like, come on. Like, 10,000 people is too many people to be getting arrested at one time. Do you know what kind of backlog you create in the justice system? That means you're going to have people sitting in holding cells that really haven't even committed a crime. They're going to be sitting there for up to 24 hours or longer.
Right.
Like, what's up with that? You're going to detain people that long just for protesting?
It's not the first time they've done it.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's like amidst everything that they're protesting against, the police are still using brutality and they're still locking people up for shit that they shouldn't lock people up for. So that's just my thing. But Lena, real fast, chime in on this.
I mean, at the end of the day, we got 40-some presidents, and every single one of these motherfuckers is white, rich, and entitled as fuck. So if you look at your local and your state representation, if you don't have it there representing your people, I'm talking minorities, women, all across the board, you have all of these fingers in the play making policies, making laws, funding, research. Like, if you have a majority of people where they have their own special interest, like, of course you're only going to have fucked up and corruption. Like, you're telling me the entire establishment of the United States of America, you only have 2 parties of representation, and you're telling me it's not fucked up? Like, we need reconstruction on so many levels, it's not even funny. And it breaks my heart that, like, that we're so uneducated. Like, that's where it starts. Like, if you dismantle a country every day in any way, in every way you can, it's so much easier to manage that. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, so I mean, like we were saying, I mean, this whole situation has really brought like to the forefront a bunch of different issues,
systematic oppression,
and really not glorifying, but exposing the systematic oppression that does occur every single day, not only for African Americans but for Asian Americans, anybody,
primarily African Americans.
Yeah, well, primarily
above all Native Americans and every other minority after that.
Yeah, that's the thing I was getting to, is that every minority is affected by this. It's not just blacks and Hispanics and Asians; it's every minority. So it's kind of crazy to see this. And then I don't know if you guys saw this today. I tagged you, Misa, in an Instagram post, and I think I tagged Greg too. There was a guy who drove his car through the protesters in Seattle, and then he hopped out.
Oh
of
yeah, I
his
saw
car
that a few days ago,
and started opening fire, bro. Which is kind of crazy because it's just like, even if you're out there protesting peacefully, like, nobody can guarantee your safety, dude. Somebody that has a separate agenda can go over there and do whatever.
Did you see the fucking dude shooting arrows at people?
Yes. Yes. Okay. So that happened like a week ago, a
few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Right, but that falls into the same thing that you're just saying. Like, you can go out there and be peaceful, but
it's fucked up.
Did you
then there's
see
these other fucking dickheads out there.
Yeah, did you see?
But it's also the police, dude. I've seen videos of people being peaceful and getting like pepper sprayed, and one of them like was this lady that had like this like 4-year-old or 3-year-old in a fucking stroller, and this kid's fucking like crying, because he's just got pepper sprayed.
Yeah,
Well,
dude.
yeah.
And there's video the whole time there. It was peaceful. It's just that they were just trying to move them back. And what way to do it is to fucking pepper spray them.
Exactly. You have people abusing their power. And that's the fucked up part, is like, if you think about it, a cop is like not the lowest level of like a public servant, but like lower than a president. So if you have that whole entire thing fucked up with one-sided bias and unfairness, like, it's gonna have a ripple effect of fucked up.
Yeah, so I mean, we're already starting to see a little bit of the rundown effect from the protests, from people staying vigilant and staying active, and not just doing this for a few days and forgetting about it. They've actually have enacted some real change to the point that now in Minneapolis, they're thinking about dismantling or disfunding the police department.
Reconstruction.
Which doesn't make it seem that there is going to be no police anymore.
No, it's
they're just gonna change the narrative.
Reconstruct
of what's behind the police department and make it more of like a public safety agency where our officers are all about making sure that everybody is safe, that they can proceed with whatever they're doing day by day without, running into any danger from people or from cops or from whatever. So we are starting to slowly see some fundamental change come. But like I said, I would attribute it to the people staying vigilant and not giving up and being consistent and going out and protesting day after day. It's crazy.
Like I said earlier, like sign these petitions. I mean, it's not. I don't want to take away from George Floyd, but not that it's only George Floyd. There's so many more others
there's so many more victims,
need recognition. Sign these petitions, find them. I'm telling you.
You know what I love of what's going on?
Open up an app and look about petitions and bailouts and
exactly.
And you'll see so many across the nation.
Yes.
That you can contribute to and have your voice heard. Even and be a part of the change, like we talked about earlier.
$5, $10, like bookmark these places, bookmark them and check in with them. Like I think it's just like with having access to the internet the way we do now, it's a disservice to yourself as a human not to educate yourself about what's going on a global atmosphere. And right now, the things that are happening are inhumane. Like, so figure out a way that you can do something, and signing petitions is another way to do that.
All right, Misa, I'll give you the final thoughts on this, and then we'll take it down to a lighter note.
Yeah, what I was thinking is what's crazy is I've seen on the news lately of so many cops now because of situations that have happened before. Now, different cops from like even years ago of shit that's happened now are being charged.
Yeah,
you know,
you're starting to see charges being brought.
And actually I saw something.
Cases,
people abusing power.
I saw something a couple of days ago. Actually, they're investigating a death that happened here in El Paso County or whatever.
Oh, did you see the video from the jail?
Yeah. The jail. I can't really remember what the story was. I don't know if you can. You guys could.
I can kind of elaborate on this. So this guy, he was stationed at Fort Bliss. He was a military member. He at some point in his time in El Paso, he got a DWI charge. And part of like the probation was that he would have to check in overnight to the El Paso County Jail and be released the following day.
So daily he did this?
Yeah, it's going to be like a 24-hour kind of thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like
time served or something, right?
No, kind of like where you just turn yourself in at night. You're free to go to work the next day, but
like a curfew.
You have to come back and forth. Okay. Anyway, that's not important. But the thing is that's important in this is that the same type of police brutality can be seen in this video, and them using these controversial maneuvers of restraining people. And
you hear him saying he can't breathe.
Yeah, in the video you can repeatedly hear him saying, "I can't breathe. I need water. You guys are suffocating me." Things to those.
Take the mask off. At one point, they put a mask on him.
Yeah. So let me just describe the video as quickly as I can. So the video starts in a weird way because they don't really show you what's going on at first. All they show you is a guard speaking to this guy that's in the cell, and then for some reason there's blood on the wall on the window of the cell. There's some black ink that looks like it's been smeared.
And let me give some background real quick so people could understand that I know. This guy was a ex-military. He served 2 terms in Iraq.
Yeah,
and he had PTSD as well.
Yeah.
So at some point, he found out when he got there, he was only supposed to be there, like Chris said, 24 hours or something. But they told him that he was going to be there for 7 days. So he had called his mom and told him, you know what? They want me to stay here for 7 days. I don't want to be here. I can't be here. Bail me out. Pay the money and just bail me out. A few hours later, something had gone horribly wrong. He had an episode, and that's how the video starts. It starts off with, you see the officer talking with him through the cell door, and there's blood. They don't know. They don't say how he got blood on the window and stuff. But eventually, they get a whole squad, and they're all in like riot gear and stuff, and they rush in there. Never at that point did he fight them or anything. But right off the bat, you see like 6-7 guys on top of him, and he's just saying, "I can't breathe," and stuff like that. But yeah, like it's I was just saying all this is it's good at the same time, and it's just kind of at the same time it's good that all these people are being now prosecuted and charged with all this shit. Especially that happened. This occasion, I believe, happened in 2015 or 2013.
Yeah, this is a while ago, dude. And this isn't the only case that has happened at the El Paso County Jail that has resulted in death. I mean, we're not going to get into that, but I mean, this just goes to show that, I mean, you really can't isolate yourself from the problem of police brutality. It's everywhere throughout the nation, throughout the globe, really. So it just goes to show that, like, people like to think, oh, I'm in El Paso, this doesn't really affect me. It does. It's just you don't know about it yet. And once you realize that it does affect people in your community, I mean, then that's kind of when you would think people would be more inclined to want to change and want to progress and, you know what I mean, make society better. But
right. And if I could touch on that just like a little bit, I feel like how you put, like, in our specific community, especially here in El Paso, just take a step back and realize that this entire nation is our community. And, like, the only reason that this is now being brought up from a case from 2015 is now because people are being vocalized or being vocal about what's going on, what's happening. And I can't stress this enough. I know I've said it a few times before, like, make your voice heard, be a part of that community, be a part of that change, because we're a nation and it needs to be done. And if it can happen here, it happens. You see it happen everywhere else. It could definitely happen here on a much bigger scale.
Yeah.
And the only way to stop it
to happen until we do something about it, essentially.
Right. It's like, if you want to see change, you got to be the change.
Oh,
exactly.
Whoa.
There you go.
Well, hold on.
I think, was it Gandhi? Was it Gandhi? No,
that was Michael Jackson, Man in the Mirror.
No, well, I just wanted to say, I think that was a very
Man in the Mirror.
I think that was one of the very first, like, intellectual thoughts that Misa's ever gave on the podcast.
Come on.
Well, I'm just trying to get at a level where you could understand me, Chris.
Okay. That was great, dude. I love it.
The bottom
Misa came out with some fucking truth right there. He's all,
and I'll say it straight up. I heard it. Somebody.
Movie. It's from a movie, dude.
I mean,
No.
Dude, that's literally Michael Jackson's Man in the Mirror fucking lyrics.
Okay.
Is it? I don't know.
Yeah,
I'll look it up because I read it somewhere a few days ago.
Hey, great original idea. Great original idea, Misa. Hell yeah. That's what we need here.
Thanks, guys.
You said it right now. Here.
Look, I had it written down, guys.
Okay, Lena, final thoughts, and let's transition to the end of the podcast where we got some more lighter notes to talk about.
The reality is that there's right and wrong, there's injustice, and it's like, where are you going to stand? Like, you know what I mean? If you're going to stand by, like, come on. There's no reason not to. There's so many things that we can do. There's right and wrong, and you need to be on the right side of it. Like, we're too old for this bullshit now. We're too educated. We have so much at our fingertips to educate ourselves. Like, come on, be informed.
Hey, Misa, our one of our, not Lena, but another producer is in my ear right now. What I'm hearing is that we have, hold on, I'm waiting for it. Yes, we have confirmation. We are going to have Donald Trump live. He's going to be joining us live from the bunker underneath the White House. So give us a second, and we're going to go live to Donald Trump. So give us 1 second. Hold on. We have some technical difficulties there. Hold on. Yes, I believe we're live now. Yes, let's go to the White House. We have President Trump. He's addressing nobody in the bunker. So let's go live to that. America, I want you to know that in these perilous times of protesting and fighting for civil justice and equal rights for all Americans, I would like you guys to know that our unemployment is not nearly as bad as it's supposed to be. And guess what, guys? The unemployment rate only changed for white Americans. The black people, they still suffered job loss. But you know what? George Floyd is up there, and he's looking down at us, and he's thinking we did a great day. We did great work for this nation. We did a great job for George Floyd and for America. America, we are great. We've never not been great. We have the best economy in the world, greater than anybody else. Russia, Shmusha, China, Shmina. I don't care. It's America. And
you guys a fucking clown.
That's what I'm saying.
Sir. I'm gonna sign my bill, sir. And I don't do media, and I don't do journalism, and I don't do facts. I go off what I say. And I'm going to go get another COVID-19 test because I am greater than everybody else, and I am your president. So thank you guys for that. El Paso, stay brown, and we are out of here. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. Hey, thank you.
Thank you. Hold on.
Hey, what?
Donald Trump eats shit.
Bro, he's a great speaker, no?
Fuck, sorry. My bad. I don't know what happened.
Guys,
fuck you, Donald.
So thank you, Mr. Trump, for not doing anything for this country ever and not being any sort of productive at all over 4 years. So thank you for that. Anyways, guys, we are going to move on to our funniest things from the internet segment, and then we're going to ask Greg some 5 random questions, and then we're going to wrap up this podcast. So who wants to go first on the funniest thing from the internet today? I have one. Okay, I'm ready.
Well, I have one, but not from. It's not from today. It's from a couple days ago.
Oh no, it doesn't matter.
Anything you want. Yeah,
as long as it's from the internet.
It was kind of a lighter note on my Twitter feed, and it popped up, and it was a dog jumping around in a puddle. And if you don't like a dog jumping around in a puddle, then I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you. That is the most funniest, wholesome content I could have ever asked for on my entire feed.
The nicest, cleanest, funniest content.
Yeah, cleanest. Like the dog just getting so excited to jump around in a puddle. Like there's nothing better.
Yeah, because you guys all know how fucking how cruel the internet can be. So when you get some good humor that is, harmless, it makes you really think about things like that.
I'll link it to you. I'll send you the link, and I'll
hey, yeah, what's your Twitter?
Put it in your stuff or whatever.
I have Twitter. What's your Twitter?
It's Blake. It's at Blake Gregory.
How many fucking names you got, bro?
I got a lot.
He's got a bunch of fucking names.
I got a lot.
Damn.
All right, so Misa,
I feel like I just interviewed like 12 people and shit.
Misa, do you have a funniest thing from the internet today?
Yeah, dude. I saw this somebody I guess had taken a screenshot of this. Somebody had posted, and it said, let's pray for President Trump today. Prayer is not partisan, and God is not limited by politics. Right now, wherever you are, ask God to move powerfully in Donald Trump's heart. And somebody commented, may the gates of hell open and swallow his entire administration whole. In Christ's name, amen.
Hey, that's the most polite way you could have said that. So
right, dude. I thought that was pretty funny.
Lena, last funniest thing from the internet today?
Yeah, I got you.
Hi, wait.
So the female perspective, wearing a mask can reduce the number of men telling you to smile.
I didn't find one single thing funny about that. I don't know what that was supposed to do.
It's because you're not a girl.
Misa went into the green screen again.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I tried to fade away. It was like,
oh man. So was that good, babe?
No way, yeah. Hey, G.
I promise you that every single girl that listens to this podcast will know exactly how funny that is.
Look at Gray. He changed his background. His wine is blown. Yeah. Okay.
Every single girl would laugh at this joke.
Yeah.
And they've done it for centuries. Even in other planets.
So, real quick, guys. This was my funniest thing from the internet today, and it's a meme, and it's showing what looks like a desktop notification on your computer, right? But this notification is from Microsoft Internet Explorer, and it has today's date, and it says, first case of COVID-19 confirmed in the USA, stay home. So,
wow.
What the fuck?
For anybody who's really familiar with computers and browsers, everybody knows that Microsoft Explorer, Internet Explorer is looked at like the stepchild and the one that nobody ever uses.
1995.
Yeah, exactly. And now they even have like their own browser called Microsoft Edge. So like Microsoft Internet Explorer is so outdated. So the fact that it's reporting COVID infections in the U.S. like literally 4 months later, that was great. Thank you, Internet. Thank you for that. And that's a safe and harmless one there, Greg. That's another one that we were talking about. Beautiful. So
Did you get it? Did you get the video?
Yes, I'm looking at the video.
Okay, so you guys are sending videos.
Yes, it's a pup.
That's a dog.
How can you look at how happy he is?
Yeah, he looks like
Pure bliss.
He looks like Misa
Yeah.
once he walks
Oh my
out of
fucking
7-Eleven
God.
with a 30-pack. That's
How
what he looks
fucking
like.
cute is he?
Looks
Look
like
at
a
how
happy
Right?
as
Is
fuck.
that not the best content?
That's what I'm saying. Look at him. Look at how happy he is.
Literally, find
Look
that
at
as a
his
link,
tail.
put it in the description so people can enjoy some
that-
quality dog content.
And he's just smiling, like his whole face. Oh my God.
Okay, so like I said, guys, one of the things we like to do with our guests as we begin to wind down the podcast is we like to throw them 5 random questions. And the questions are sometimes the same, but sometimes they're not. So we're going to have 5 random questions that we're going to ask to Greg. We'll give our final thoughts on the podcast, and that will be the end of episode 29 of Conversing with Chris and Misa, the podcast. So, Greg, before we get into this, big shout out again one more time for being on the podcast. Thank you for supporting us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you guys.
We will make sure to tell all of our followers and listeners to check out your Twitch and make sure they go support everything that you're doing on that platform. So shout out to you again. Misa, do you have any words for Greg before we start this?
Yeah, you should start drinking Budweiser, bro. That Coors Light looks weak on you, Doug.
Coors Light.
That's a Miller Lite, bro.
I'm trying to get a
Come on.
Miller Lite sponsor.
There you go.
Oh, Miller Lite?
You see, he's on a
Jesus.
mission. Let him do his thing.
Same
Okay.
thing, man. Anyways, dude, appreciate you being on, man. It's been a while since I've seen you. You know, last time I saw you, you still had hair on your head.
Oh, pinche culo,
Thank you,
Misa.
too.
Okay,
But again,
so
and Chris, you're a bitch, dude. Lena,
hey, well, the podcast isn't
Wow.
over, dude. Save that for the end.
I know. Well, I know, but I still gotta say this, Lena.
Okay.
What?
No comment. But thanks, man. That's what I gotta say.
Okay, so we'll get into final thoughts. Imagine how that's going to be. We're asking Misa for just a few words about what's going on here, and he just went crazy. So, Greg, question number 1. In 40 years from now, what will people be nostalgic for?
40 years is a
Damn, I
long
just stumped
time.
his ass. Look at him. Look at him.
Because it's like 10 years, 20 years, but
Wait.
40 years, like
You said 40 years?
Yes.
Jesus.
Okay.
40
think about
years.
yes. From 40 years from now, you know
Yeah.
how you're nostalgic from things from your past from now.
In
So-
40 years, people will be nostalgic for being able to drive on your own.
Yes. Oh, dude, perfect. That was
Hey,
great.
good.
That was a
Good
great
shit.
answer. Yeah. See what I'm saying? Another thing I was thinking is like people might be in 40 years from now nostalgic that they used to go actually like go to work and have lunch with their coworkers because by that time, shit, probably everything will literally be done online.
You
So-
think?
Yo,
But
you're not
that
wrong,
being
you're
said,
not wrong.
exactly. I was gonna say like shopping, like going even grocery
Yeah,
shopping,
like-
or
like,
going
actually-
like malls right now, like are disappearing.
Or yeah,
Every-
like in 40 years from now, people are going to be like, oh, back in the day, I used to go through every single aisle in the grocery store, go up and down to make sure everything, you know what I mean? Like that's not going to happen in the future. It's going to be, everything's just direct.
Hey,
So,
but you know what? I didn't even like going to malls anyway. Fuck malls.
yeah, fuck
Amen.
malls.
Hey,
I'm not a mall guy.
me too, man. I used to
Wait,
work there for like
actually-
4 years.
I only liked going to Sunland Park Mall specifically for steak pitos. And since it left there, like I didn't give a shit.
Okay, hold
Steak
up.
Pitos was gross, bro. I used to work there. Well, not at
Well,
Steak Pitos,
okay,
but at
stop.
security.
Yeah, I'm not going to let
Don't
you.
ruin it.
I'm not going to let you come on
You're not
here
going to ruin a
and
fucking
destroy
double meat,
steak
double
Pitos.
sauce Tatanka for me.
Yes, you're not
Misa.
going to ruin the Tatanka, Misa. And
All
if
right,
that's
then.
what you're
Ruin
going to
this fucking
do,
cheese
then we need to
bacon
think
fries.
about this.
I'm walking away right now.
Okay, we need to think about this whole podcast, Misa.
Steak Pitos is
The
trash.
Tatanka, Misa.
Son of a
Trash.
bitch.
Tatanka. God.
Trash.
Don't you get it? Dude, I'm sick and tired of this motherfucker, bro. He was about to come on here. He was about to come on here and destroy Steak Pitos. Not on my watch. Not
No,
while I'm
no.
alive. And I'm glad.
trash.
Greg, which is his name.
Yeah, you're calling me by my fucking online personality now.
Oh,
Yes.
shit.
He had my back, and forever I will be thankful.
Well,
for
it's
that.
a tie right now.
So, question number. No, you stay out of it. We're not even going to bring this
Why
into
the fuck
because
can't
if
I?
not, you're going to get kicked off this podcast
Nah.
too. So
Nah.
before that happens, fucking question number 2 for Greg. Have you ever gone skinny dipping?
Ooh.
Yes, multiple times. Yes.
Oh, nice.
No,
Okay.
really?
So Greg is not a stranger to having his balls in
Local
chlorine
pools
water.
around
Balls
here,
out.
like if yeah,
Okay.
yes.
Damn.
Nice. Hell yeah.
All right.
Apartment complexes, you name it. Yeah, I have.
Okay, so Greg likes to swim naked in public pools or wherever there's a body.
Yeah,
of
so
water.
be careful where you live.
So be
no,
careful,
I'm just
yeah.
kidding. But
Watch
no,
out for
yes,
that.
I have.
Okay, so question number 3. I've always known Greg to be an animal lover. He's always had a dog around him.
Aw.
I remember his dog Lemon back
I'm
in
getting
the day.
a dog. Like Chris doesn't think it's gonna happen.
So, since now we've touched a little bit on dogs, I have a question for you. If animals could talk, which one would be the rudest and why?
Oh my god. Okay, well, I have 2 dogs. So,
It's dogs.
Axel, my girl, she's the oldest. She would definitely be the rudest because she's older age. You know
I
what I
like
mean?
the name. Yeah,
She would just be like,
a feisty bitch.
yeah, she'd just be like, "Fuck you, dude." Like, I don't care. But Brody, the boy, he would definitely love. I feel like Axel would love me the most, but Brody would be all about it. You know what I mean? But Axel would just wouldn't care.
She'd be like, "You're dumb." Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're dumb. I fucking love you. Like, get over yourself.
and then Brody
already,
would
you
be
know what
like,
I mean?
"Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah, Brody be like, "Yeah, I got your fucking back," and I'd be like, "Brody, chill, fucking relax."
So, yeah.
Hey, welcome back, Misa. You got any words to say for yourself real fast?
Yeah, I just want to say sorry, Greg, that you can't grow any hair and I can.
Yeah, I'll show him right now if this is going on YouTube.
Oh, there you go.
This
And
guy's
Chris,
starting to bald
fuck
too.
you,
Look
man.
at his hairline is like way over here, dude.
Don't worry
Like,
about me, brother.
It happens.
Hey, Misa, you messed some good questions, dude. But you know what? I think you got some well-deserved time off from the podcast right there for those quick 2 minutes.
Don't
So,
do that shit again.
hey, can you promise not to fucking blast steak pedos on here again?
All right. Let's not talk about steak pedos then, and then I won't.
Because it's trash.
Good deal.
What the?
I
okay,
almost.
okay.
I
No, get the
almost
fuck
said
outta here.
fact.
Yeah.
I almost said fact.
Okay. Yeah. You guys are skating on thin ice over here. Okay.
Bring it.
Anyways, question number 4, Greg. What would be the worst buy one get one free sale of all time? Sorry.
The worst?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think there is one.
Oh, I
Because
know.
No, there would have to be one.
Well,
for sure.
well, no, because I feel like things that are coming to my head, like manure, maybe, but no, but that would be a hell of a deal for your crops. And I was thinking,
Right, I mean,
maybe,
Exactly. Fertilization.
You have to think about it. You're gonna want to buy this, right? Like if it's a buy one get one free kind of shit, it's like, well, I have to.
well, yeah, if I'm already gonna want to buy it and it's a buy one get one free, then it's a great deal all around.
Okay, I got you.
Okay,
I got you.
But what if it's something as small as like that, like literally something that doesn't have value? So you're just buying something and just getting
No,
another
if
thing
it's
for
free, it has value. Bottom line. I'm thinking like if you go to get buy one get one free in a food item and you don't like the food that you ordered.
But I wouldn't be getting a deal because it wouldn't even be what I would
He's
be
like-
getting.
Okay.
Right.
Right. Okay.
So like anything that I would be getting realistically,
Well, okay. What
Buy
about
one,
adopting
get
a
one free.
child? There you go. Adopting a child.
That's what I was thinking. But we
Adopting
don't
a
really.
child.
but
It's like
No.
buy one get one free. It's like, yo, dude, I only wanted one.
yeah. Yeah.
Like,
or-
well, it
Why
comes
does
with
that- why
it.
does that
It's a
remind me of
sale.
Despicable Me.
that's kind of what I
Well,
was
no,
thinking
because
too,
I
like-
wouldn't be shopping for a child. But I mean, like,
I mean,
guess
but
I
if
don't
you
know.
were, if you wanted to adopt, it's like, yeah,
So
you
like,
know what, man?
imagine you went to the child store, right? And then today they were like, "Hey,
child
yeah. Well, hold on. You walked into the child store and they're like, "Hey, bro, it's your lucky day. Buy one get one free." Greg's like, "Fuck no! Can I come back like in 2 weeks? Like, when does this sale end?
Yo, I'll hit you guys up later. I'm out of here.
Yeah. Okay.
Peace.
So I guess that wasn't a very good thought out question.
No,
so-
but I understand. But like, I automatically took it as something that I wanted, and
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah,
I feel like even if I owned a farm, which I don't, and I wanted manure, and I
Like-
got buy one get one free,
like
and it
I
was
feel
like,
like buy one,
buy free shit and get free shit.
I feel like buy one get one free cigarettes would be bad because they're just like saying, "Here, die faster." You know what I mean?
I like
I don't
But
know.
unless you wanted them, I guess. But yeah.
No, dude, of course not. That,
Okay, next
That'd be a fucking
question.
steal.
We're gonna move on from this question. I totally botched that one. Number 5, last question. What sport would be the funniest if you had to add a mandatory amount of alcohol to it? So before they could start playing a game, they would have to drink 4 shots of tequila, 2 shots of tequila, whatever.
I say every fucking sport.
No, but which one would be
no.
the funniest?
Well,
No.
Like the funniest
Can I-
to see.
I feel like I would. I don't want to change the question, but is blackjack a sport? I mean, I feel like it is.
No,
I
it
want-
is.
Is it considered a
I want the
sport?
dealer to get fucking hammered. You know what I mean?
Hey,
And-
you're gonna want this one for sure.
I
You're
want
gonna be like, you're gonna want.
do it.
Dude, well, what I'm thinking is
I want the
everybody.
house to be fucked up.
Yeah, well, no, I'm thinking like if they're all drinking, so then somebody would be like, bro, I got a fucking pair of 8s, bro. I'm gonna go all in.
You know what sport I would do that for?
You know what I mean? Like,
Remember when that
hold on,
Oh
Misa.
shit!
They would be like delusionally like overconfident. So like,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
example,
true.
if you give Steph Curry like 3 shots of tequila, every time he gets the ball, no matter where he is, he's just shooting it. He's like, fuck it. Like, I'm gonna make it, like launching half court weaves and like shots from like,
YOLO.
you know what I,
I feel
mean?
like I
Fuck
feel
it.
like the funniest sport
I'd
for
say
someone to be
boxing
fucked
probably.
up on would probably be like soccer, and just see these guys run around in like circles and
Tumble
like miss
and
the
fall
ball
down.
and
Yeah.
Hey,
Fuck it
actually,
up.
speaking of that, there's a video that I saw of exactly that, but they were doing like an inside soccer where it's like the field is smaller.
right. Yeah, yeah.
And these guys like all got trashed before, and they made teams of like 8 or something like
Oh,
that. All of them
fuck
trashed,
no.
dude.
That's
Like,
beautiful.
and then like in between breaks, they all would take shots and
I'd
just
fall.
stayed drunk the whole time. Like
I feel like
a
that would
guy
be
passed
fucking
out.
hilarious.
Yeah, dude, a guy passed out, you know, in the middle of the game, and they left him there the whole fucking game.
That just
Hey.
seems so difficult. Like your spatial awareness is fucked up. Like your capability of like, okay, my arm's right here. Like your depth perception's no, I'm not down.
yeah, alcohol.
Right. Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. And I
it's
feel like
funny,
we
funny.
as the viewers would be more beneficial
Yeah.
to see
I
that.
think
Exactly.
maybe like tennis would be fun to watch.
Yeah, like the
Tennis too. They'd be on the other side of the court, swinging at it.
Nobody ever hits it once, you know. Like
they're just like,
there was just like he's trying to surf, and then he couldn't do it. He gets like 2-3 chances, and then it's the other guy's turn. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
the actual qualities of the sports would go down, but the viewer would be the one to benefit. From
maybe
this.
NASCAR would be nice to watch
So,
oh god, that'd be illegal.
Fuck no.
with like trampolines.
Oh fuck yeah! When you mix shit like
Yeah.
that, I feel
Yeah,
like
remember
that's
that though? Like they had like in the whole
I
basketball.
do. I'm
court.
trying to think about what it was called.
Yeah,
though.
me too. But that shit got famous for a good minute. Like that
I-
shit would be funny to watch.
But even like
awesome.
the X Games is cool. Like you see somebody running across, but then something's hitting them. Like you want to see like funny. I don't know. When people fall, I laugh. Like I'm fucked up. You know?
Oh, okay. You want to know what would be fucking hilarious if they had to take a shot or like get a certain amount of fucked up before they did? Wipeout would even be way
Oh.
more funnier.
I'd be fucked up. No, but that
People
no,
would die like that, though.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe just.
Nah,
like
but
a
I was
couple
actually
shots.
thinking, oh, this is like Wipeout. Like Wipeout doesn't like even recommend for you to get fucked up or anything, and people get destroyed in that fucking game.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe like Ninja Warriors. That would be fucking awesome to
Oh
watch.
god, that'd
Just,
be, yeah,
like
that'd be
you'd
funny
be
too.
like fucking fucked
Where they
up.
run up the curved wall and like reach for it, but they're like still 6 feet. They're not even
Yeah.
on the curved wall. They're like,
or like tumbling, like the Olympics or something like that. You know,
Oh
Yeah.
no, that's worse.
break your
maybe-
neck, land on the ah.
But you're
It's like,
loose.
I give him a 0.5, landing on his neck.
that's all he gets. That's
no shit.
0.5 for effort.
Also,
Landing
some
zero.
hold on. The intercom comes on like. Also, some assistance, please. Medical assistance. Over.
That shit's hilarious. All right, guys. So let's wrap up this podcast. Those were the 5.
Hey, real
random
quick.
questions.
Oh, okay, go for it.
Yeah, hold up. I'll give you some time. Those were the 5 random questions with our boy Greg. We're gonna get ready to wrap this up. So what we like to do is we like to give our final thoughts before we end every podcast. And so Misa, lead us off today. Final thoughts on today's pod.
Final thoughts, man. First things first, Greg, bro. Thanks, man. Good
Greg.
seeing you, dude.
Greg the Egg.
Appreciate you, man. It's always good, dude. I appreciate always keeping in contact with you. You know, it's always fun, and good luck with your Twitch and all that. I'll be looking into. Let me know when you do that whole 24 hours stuff, dude. And
Yeah, for
if
sure.
it's on my day off, I'll do it, and I'll just put my kids in the closet or something with like a bowl of water and some food or something. But I'll be there, dude, for sure.
That's fair.
Perfect.
Yeah, dude. Thanks again, man. Chris, Lena, always a good one, like always. And everybody listening, guys, thank you. And make sure to follow us on all our socials. I'm too lazy to tell you guys which ones.
But you should already know them by now.
Yeah, for sure.
You know where to find us.
Okay, Lena, real fast, final thoughts on today's podcast.
No, as always, thank you for spending your time with us, Greg. I appreciate it. Sharing a part of you. That's always really cool. Thank you for connecting with us, spending time with us again. Connect, do what you can, sign petitions, educate yourself.
Texting Misa
Fucking
because you're
Misa.
making that shit go off on my
That
computer.
wasn't me, dude. That
Yes,
wasn't
it
just me.
was. That was a group message that I could see.
That's the governor and fucking Joe Memes.
Look,
I
my
know.
shit's on fucking vibrate. You see that little red thing?
No, it's 'cause-
I know.
No, it's because like my thing is like my Mac is set up with my phone, so my phone.
Oh, that's your fault then.
But the Mac is still going on.
Then stop complaining, motherfucker.
I
Damn.
know, but I'm like looking at you, wondering where these noises are coming from, and I see you texting, you send it,
Well,
and then
one of whatever. Anyways, continue.
Whatever, yeah. Okay.
Like I said, you're already listening. You're already on your phone. Educate yourself. Sign the petitions. Be aware. Do what's
What
right.
fucking petition?
All of them.
All right.
All of them. All of them. I mean, come on. You're like seriously. Internet. I mean, I don't. Like,
All of them.
He's signing,
No, I
he's
mean,
signing a petition right
here
now.
it is. Here it is. You're already on your phone. Sign a fucking petition. Take the time to read it, see what it's about, and do your fucking part. You're already on it.
Can't read, Lena! Jesus, fuck.
How many times do you have to throw it in his face like that? That's actually
I'm
kinda
just
mean.
saying. You
Okay,
know,
anyway, Greg, final thoughts on today's podcast. It's been a whirlwind of a podcast.
a fucking roller coaster. if
We've
you
gone
will.
up, we've gone down, we've gone up, down, down, up, down.
But
and
we
all over
loved
again.
having you.
It's kind of like how Mexicans toast. Arriba, abajo,
Yeah.
Yeah.
adentro, something,
Okay,
al
remember,
centro,
he
something
doesn't,
adentro.
he doesn't know Spanish, dude. So remember.
Yeah.
I just know whenever I hear that, I know
Either.
to cheers.
Yeah, whatever.
You just
But yeah, speaking of that, let's get a quick
Yeah.
cheers in.
Yeah,
Let's get a
cheers, guys. Cheers.
Everybody.
All right.
I just want to say thank you guys so much for having me. I know it's been a long time coming, and I don't work anymore, and now I got the fucking time to do this again. I can't stress this enough. I cannot wait to do this again in person.
Yeah,
And
no,
Oh,
for
definitely.
sure.
after COVID is ran its
Yeah.
course, I guess, or
That fucking
whenever
bitch.
whenever people tell us that we can go back outside and hang out with our
Or-
friends, I guess.
Well, they're telling us we could do that now, but it's bad right now.
Yeah, just be
Well,
careful.
yeah, it's so bad.
All right, dude. So one more time before you go, make sure to
Yeah, plug
your
in.
Twitch.
Tell us where you're at.
Oh yeah, okay. So twitch.tv/Balakaywil. That's BALAKAYWIL. And I stream every day, and it's not just games. If you want to come in and just hang out and be a part of the community, you're more than welcome. And I would appreciate you guys just stopping by and hanging out.
Do you have a certain time?
Some milestones we're close to. We're close to 1,000 followers. We're close to 375 subscribers, and subscribing
Hey.
is not Twitch is entirely free.
Yeah.
So if you just want to come and hang out, be my guest, drop a follow, and we'll chat and communicate and maybe drink some beers together. So I'd appreciate it. So thank you guys very much for having me on the podcast today.
And real quick, what times do you get on?
Oh, that is completely random.
Okay.
So just be
We live in
available,
that
be
large.
ready. Follow this
Turn
guy.
on your
Yeah.
notifications.
Turn on your notifications on Twitch. Make sure you
I'm down.
download the app.
Yeah.
That way you'll get notified once he does go live, and you can tune in whenever it is that is convenient for you. One big thing, my final thought, guys, is like we're doing this podcast, right? We're trying to bring people on that support what we're doing, but in turn, we also want to support them. So for everybody that's listening, make sure to go and follow our boy Greg, support what he's doing, because it's very much like a podcast in its own right. It's a Twitch stream, so it's not your traditional medium, but go out and support that. Support the people who support us. That way we can all keep growing and creating together. And, you know, that's what this podcast is all about. So, Greg, thank you again for joining us. This is episode 29, Conversing with Chris and Misa, the podcast. Guys, make sure Facebook, give us a like, Instagram, follow us, subscribe to our YouTube page. We got plenty of videos on there now. Misa is actually really good at doing these like impromptu videos.
Yeah.
And it's usually on Sunday
So
for some
talented.
reason. I text
For
him, I'm
sure.
like, hey, Misa, do a video.
Hey, well, the whole thing is it's usually the day that we're gonna release a new episode.
We try to do some promotion. And that's
Yeah,
part of it.
it's just some promotion out there, and it's fun, man. I have a lot of fun with it.
So
I've got a lot of more ideas coming up for our future.
yeah, so we look forward to more videos from Misa. They're always really funny. They're always really creative. He does a good job with that. But yeah, guys, make sure to check us out. Follow us, like us, subscribe. We are